This video is available as a podcast on Spotify. Just search for mxux. The Endurance is in an elite group with the Chevy ICE ZR2, Ford F-150, and the Ford F-150 Lightning. So there's the Endurance, the ZR2, and the F-150 Lightning. And this is for North American Truck of the Year. I was shocked to see the Endurance actually getting its due. If this is independent, I think that the Endurance is the likely winner. I do not believe a ICE vehicle is going to get this award. It's too backward looking. And the Ford F-150 Lightning, now we're going to go through this in a second, is wallowy. So the Endurance, as I say, if Porsche built a pickup truck, it would be the Endurance. Digital at the wheel, traction control, torque vectoring, unbelievable performance. So let's just go over this award. Founded in 94, these awards are the longest running new vehicle awards not associated with a single publication, which I do believe is why the Endurance has been chosen. It's outside of the the regular press, and especially the business press, is dependent on advertising. When you have OEMs like Ford and Chevy spending millions and millions of dollars a year on advertising, none of these media outlets want to give an honest opinion on either of these vehicles or allow an upstart like in the Endurance to come into play. With these out of the ordinary and the large number of media involved here, this is why I think the Endurance has a very good chance of winning this. Not associated with a single publication. They are judged by 50 professional automotive journalists from a wide variety of print, online, radio, and television media outlets in the United States and Canada. And you can look at this, NorthAmericanCarOfTheYear.org, all one word. If you want to look at that, the history, this is one of the most prestigious awards, and this in the automotive industry, and this came out of the Detroit Auto Show, which, by the way, was poorly attended, and I do believe the ICE manufacturers are Osborne affecting themselves out of business. I think everybody is going to wait to buy an electric vehicle now, and I think it's my personal opinion. Some of these OEMs, let's just use Ford as an example. I don't know if this is true or not, but I think they're going to have to employ the contract manufacturing services of the Foxconn Lordstown Joint Venture to meet demand for their vehicles. In any case, let's just move on. So, this is out of these are the finalists. I'm not sure. I don't know how many trucks were chosen. I think there were 47 trucks in the running. These are the semifinalists. This is going to be winnowed down to 2 vehicles, and then there's going to be Car of the Year announced in 2023. We're going to go over this right now. So, 2023 Truck of the Year, Lordstown Endurance. Semifinalist Truck of the Year, along with the F-150 Lightning and Silverado ZR2 ICE. I made a couple of videos on the Lightning. One in which a CNBC auto specialist took the Lightning for a test drive and said, it's a bit wallowy. Okay, this truck, I don't know what the weight is. You can look it up. It's 9,000 pounds, something like that. I think the Endurance weighs a full ton less. So if they're honest about rating the drivability or the handling of this vehicle, the Endurance is going to beat it hands down. The Silverado ZR2 ICE, I'm sure, is a fine vehicle. I do not believe these journalists are going to pick an ICE vehicle. That's my personal opinion. Now, Lordstown must sell one unit to a customer by the end of 2022 to be eligible to win. They are in production. I believe Lordstown Motors is playing it close to the vest. They know the short and distort crowd is after them. I think they're going to wait to release any information on the earnings call. Both Lordstown Motors and Foxconn have to agree to what information is released. So I don't think we're going to find out. And it's my opinion that deliveries are underway or very nearly underway. I don't think we're going to find out until the next earnings call that deliveries have been made. But I don't think this is going to be a problem. Sell one unit. I think that's a done deal. Now, the drive and ride evaluation is next. That's October 17th in 2022. And again, the Lordstown Motors Endurance is a driver's truck. I mean, this truck, I don't know if you've seen the handling on the skid pad, on the rain pad, driving around in 2 inches of water. Have you seen this truck driving on snow? It's full-time, digitally controlled, at the wheel, four-wheel drive. And it is a monster. It is like people have described it like it's on rails. Okay. Anyway, if anyone is honest about their evaluation, I think the Endurance is going to take it. Now, that's the next hurdle, is the drive and ride evaluation. Of course, Ford has extreme clout in the media, as does Chevy. So this is David and Goliath. Okay, so we're going to see how I know the Endurance can handle. Will the evaluators be honest, or will they kowtow to their OEM masters? We're going to see. The finalists will be announced at the LA Auto Show later this year, November 16th, 2022, and then the car of the year is going to be announced like in December or January of 2023. Now, this is very interesting. Autoline, which is basically the Detroit auto source for information on the industry. Autoline, and they have the host. Anyway, they are the source for Detroit auto news and industry news as well. They had a live cast with a panel of experts talking about these nominees, the Lightning, the Silverado, and the Endurance. Now, when it came, there was one person who appeared to be in charge or very much running the panel discussion, not the host, the Autoline host. And you can watch this for yourselves. All you got to do is search for it on YouTube. Go to Autoline, and it'll be one of their first videos in their list of videos. Despite the main host, now, this guy who's running this panel, they go through the Lightning, they go through the Silverado, then they get to the Endurance, and this guy goes, I went to the website. There's no information on this truck. We don't have any information on this truck. You know what? We're just going to skip this truck. Oh, OMG. The host, the Autoline host, his eyebrows went up, and he's just staring in the camera. He couldn't believe it. Here's the thing. The host of Autoline interviewed Hightower less than a month ago, and he gave a detailed interview with full details on the Endurance. All this panel member who was running the discussion had to do was ask the main host of Autoline, and he could have told him. Likewise, this panel member said, well, I can't find any information on the website. There was just 1 or 2 days before this panel was assembled, a live interview by TFL or TLF. Oh no, the fast lane, TFL, and you can Google, you can search for that on YouTube. An interview, a live interview at the show with Hightower, discussing the truck, giving full details on the truck. Now, this panel member goes, well, I looked at the website. Well, a Google search would have came up with either of these answers. I always go to YouTube now to search for information because I'd rather see it in that format than print format. I mean, in my opinion, this was a very obvious slight, okay? And it was just, I have down here, despite the main host interview, Autoline's main host interview with Hightower, and the TFL interview, CEO Hightower interview, just days before, this guy said there's no information on this truck. This host looked gobsmacked. However, the press on this nomination has been slightly favorable, and there are even a couple of favorable YouTube mentions, which is unusual for Lordstown Motors. But again, you have to watch this little segment. It's just a 30-second segment. That's all they got. This was Autoline's major panel discussion. It was an hour long about the North American Truck of the Year nominations. Lordstown Motors mentioned for, 30 seconds. Anyway, nobody cares because you know what? It's all these independent journalists that are going to do the judging, not these guys on this show. And I would add that the reason that the website isn't updated at Lordstown Motors or that the spec information has been taken down, I think there's two reasons for that. One, we've got the Fed and the SEC investigating Lordstown Motors. We all know this. I think that's a moot point, by the way, that investigation. But the point is, they do not want to publish information that they may change later. I can understand this. Secondly, this is a commercial vehicle. It's going to be sold to fleets. It's the fleet people that are going to get this news, not the regular customers. Now, at some point, and I do believe this is going to be at the earnings call, they're going to announce the full specs. By the way, Hightower basically gave the full specs for the fleet version of the Endurance in his interview with TFL just days before this Autoline show. And just as a recap, pretty much as expected, I do believe the fleet needs, and you can see my video on, it says ride reaches an all-time low, fleet demand is strong for battery electric vehicles. I got to tell you, the fleets have different spec needs than the general public, and they travel less miles per day. The Endurance fleet version is going to have a smaller battery, basically. And I think this is another reason that this is not listed on the website, because obviously there's going to be more than one battery. But anyway, the point is, Hightower, I think it's a 90 kilowatt battery. I think they're listing a 200-mile range. I would add that the Endurance hub motors are digitally controlled at the wheel. Every microsecond, they go from regen to power. Okay? The Endurance is capable of 30% more regen than a regular BEV. So, even at that 90 kilowatt battery and the range listed, we're going to have to see what the final range is. And of course, I'll just state it again. I've said it in the last video. Homologation, certification, EPA, everything's done on the Endurance. It's crash testing. It's passed everything. I believe it's a 4-star. Crash test is all stars all the way. Um, so this truck is in production. And again, the fleet specs are going to be different than any specs that a normal customer in the public would buy. But anyway, I just thought that was funny. You got to watch this Autoline. I'll tell you what a snub. However, the press, and if you look at the print press, slightly favorable, unbelievably. But damn the torpedoes, fears for others. In the Endurance and Lordstown Motors does not care what people think. They have, because they have the goods. This is a great vehicle. This is groundbreaking technology. The CEO of Foxconn knows, and this is a person that knows manufacturing, that knows about putting electronics together. He knows, and this is the reason they've decided to joint venture with Lordstown. And he has said this. He finds the hub motors to be uh, easily manufacturable. Or let's see, what did he see? The manufacturability of the hub motor design. It eliminates so many parts. It shortens the bill of materials. There's 4 moving parts in the drivetrain of this truck. Unbelievable. Anyway, enough of that. There you go. I do believe if there is an honest evaluation, I do not believe they're going to look backwards and choose the ZR2. Because this Detroit Auto Show was lightly attended, and I do believe this is because why? Because people have Osborne affected. Osborne effect is when you announce a new vehicle, a new product before it's ready, and everybody waits for it to come out, and nobody buys your old products. I did, if you look at my list of videos, Osborne effect from Ford. I do believe everybody's over ICE. Anybody that's going to buy a new car is going to want an electric car, and there weren't that many electric cars at the show. And we all know about the availability, for example, of the Lightning. I don't know if you've seen the videos on the bait and switch about their fleet vehicle, their Lightning Pro. Basically, you can't buy it. I don't know how many. I mean, as you know, as a normal person in the public, forget about it. They're doing bait and switch. They're making everybody that ordered the Pro um, upgrade to the Lariat or whatever. So Ford is having some real problems meeting demand. I am of the opinion, and I had a video planned on this before this award came out, that Ford is going to be seeking help with their manufacturing of battery electric vehicles to keep up with their demand. Now, we don't know, and I cannot say that Foxconn, the Lordstown Foxconn Joint Venture, is going to be the aid to the Ford manufacturing. I mean, Ford has got to, they got to pull the ripcord, and they got to jump out of the plane and go to somebody to help them meet demand for their brand. Will that be Lordstown? I don't know. I just did a bunch of research. Uh, Lordstown Motors top management is replete with Ford, ex-Ford executives. And we don't know what that means. I don't know if that means they're trying to put it together to be likable by Ford, or are they putting it together to compete with Ford? We don't know. We're going to have to see. Watch for that video to come. Now, let's just move on. So that's the award. Very prestigious award. I think Lordstown, with any kind of fair judging, is going to win that truck of the year. Okay? Now, moving on to the next topic. FISKER considering moving Ocean production from Austria. And this is the Inflation Reduction Act, and this is the credits and so forth for BEV purchases and the content laws associated with that. Also, they are looking, and this is, I believe, specific to Lordstown, Ohio. They are looking to partner, joint venture with a battery manufacturer like General Motors has partnered with LG to produce batteries for their PEAR. So there's going to be more infrastructure going in adjacent to the Foxconn plant in Lordstown. Now, here's the Ocean. Again, they're making this in Austria right now, and Magna is making it on a Magna platform. FSKR is making the PEAR at Lordstown. They have committed to it. It is, according to all my information, going to be on the MIH platform, which is the joint venture MED Foxconn Lordstown Motors joint venture platform. I am of the opinion that they can move production of this vehicle to Lordstown. I think they may switch it from the Magna platform to the MIH platform and put the same or a very similar body style on it. I think they can. Lordstown can re-engineer that. I think that's a possibility, and I think that's very realistic. But anyway, if they're going to move it anywhere, I think they're going to move it to Lordstown because they're already making the PEAR there. And this is what Henry FSKR said. We already considered U.S. manufacturing for the Ocean before the act. Obviously, FSKR CEO and co-founder Henry FSKR said by email, once you reach more than 50,000 sales in the region, local production makes sense. I project that we should pass 50,000 sales in 2024 in the U.S. market. And this is of the crossover Ocean, which is the more expensive vehicle. I believe this is 40,000 versus the PEAR, which is 30,000, sub 30,000 with these things. So, in light of the fact that they want to put a battery plant in, I do believe adjacent to Lordstown, or they're looking to do that. They're using Lordstown Motors and Foxconn, the joint MED joint venture, to make the PEAR, which is going to be their mass market vehicle. Why wouldn't they move production of the Ocean to Lordstown? I think, in my opinion, these talks are already underway. I think that's coming also. Now, I just want to go through a little rant here. FSKR expects to produce 250,000 PEAR BEVs in Lordstown. And again, this is their sub $30,000 BEV. Now, and again, they're looking for a partner to produce batteries for this vehicle. Lordstown Motors, I believe, is doing the design and engineering, final design and engineering, homologation, certification, EPA, crash testing on the PEAR for FSKR. It is going to be engineered, I am basically certain, do your own DD on the MIH platform. 250,000 units. And Lordstown Motors is going to make fees for that, and Foxconn is going to make fees for that. Lordstown, depending on how they negotiate that contract, could receive a payment for each one sold, so on and so forth. Now, let me just talk about now, here's the thing. The new BEV, I'm going to read it. The new BEV Belt in Ohio will create good-paying jobs for millions of long-suffering, out-of-work, and underemployed residents. GM's Ultium plant, which is next door to Foxconn's Lordstown plant, and Foxconn are just the beginning. Okay? Lordstown, Ohio will be a massive manufacturing hub in just a few years. With many more factories to follow. And I do believe an expansion of Foxconn's Lordstown facility, as well as Lordstown Motors has retained a 90-acre site at the Lordstown plant site. I do believe they're going to be building a permanent facility there, in addition to what they're working with in Orange County, California, and Detroit as well. But this is going to be, Foxconn's plant in China employed 350,000 people. Just think about that. So I believe that this is going to be a massive manufacturing hub in just a few years. Okay. This expansion will go on for decades. Once underway, I expect several other major ICE automotive OEMs, BEV manufacturers, and other tech firms to contract Lordstown Motors, Foxconn MED Joint Venture to design and build battery electric vehicles for their brands as well. So, Monarch Tractor is there. We've got FISKER there. We have the private Lordstown Motors brand. We have the private Foxtron brand. And we have the joint venture, MED Foxconn Lordstown Joint Venture, Model C and Model E already. The way Foxconn does things, this is the biggest electronics manufacturer on the planet, probably in this part of the galaxy. Okay. And when they decide to pivot their firm from making iPhones to making battery electric vehicles, they're going to do it. And they're going to do it in a big way. And they're going to carry their tradition of technical expertise and quality into their battery electric vehicles. And I do believe they're going to become the default manufacturer, along with engineering and design by Lordstown Motors, of many battery electric vehicles for many different brands. And whether those will be white label rebranding of existing models that they manufacture that I mentioned, or whether these will be new models designed on the MIH platform or variations of the MIH platform, I just see this as exploding. We are just on the second of the first day of this big bang. Okay, it's just about to happen. All right. Soon as the Endurance wins this award, or even if it doesn't win the award, just the mention might be enough. Along with, I'm sure the customer reviews are going to explode this whole thing. And by the way, Foxconn doesn't care about the short and distort crowd. They don't care what people are saying. They don't make stupid decisions. They didn't get to where they are today by making stupid decisions. That's why they chose Lordstown and the Lordstown plant. Anyway, Lordstown Motors is a perfect example of capitalism, innovation, and private enterprise solving a problem in the private sector, job creation, and reshoring manufacturing that government couldn't. You got to understand, the joint venture with Foxconn, the purchase of the Foxconn plant, so on and so forth. This was all undertaken while Angie Strand was an interim CEO. This was all done before the Inflation Reduction Act. This was implemented by Lordstown Motors in their remake of their company. And this is a private sector effort, okay? Done by RIDE and Foxconn. And they haven't got the advanced manufacturing loans. They may have gotten some small tax credits. This has all been financed by them with their own debt and capital structures and so forth. So you got to hand it to RIDE, Lordstown Motors. RIDE is the stock symbol, and Foxconn. They're ahead of the curve on all of this. You're going to see that this is going to be the bleeding edge of the battery electric vehicle manufacturing process. I think a lot of major OEMs and a lot of other people that want to get battery electric vehicles on the road are going to turn to the MED joint venture, which is Foxconn and Lordstown Motors. Okay, now, parties opposing RIDE, okay, anybody that knows the history of RIDE, they can look at my videos. One of the most attacked stocks and companies in the market. I don't want to go through it. Everybody has tried to take this company down, and you know what? That's why the truck's named the Endurance, because they don't care. They push ahead because you know why? This is a great product. This is groundbreaking technology. This is a great truck. Uh, Moving forward here, the short sellers, so-called research firms fueling the short and distort industry, Hindenburg, you pick them, hedge funds that are behind the curtains are buying these reports ahead of the time they come out to make short positions, making millions of dollars on this yellow journalism. The media, including the business press, you know, Jim Cramer, uh, allegedly. Well, I'm not allegedly. You can look at Jim Cramer's media on Lordstown Motors and how he went from positive to negative, and oh, the boundosity of, look at my videos on this. Anyway, we also have influencers and web creators who I have a video I made on this. I decided not to put it out, but there are YouTubers who cover autos and battery electric vehicles, and some that don't even cover them to any extent, all of a sudden come out with a giant negative piece on Lordstown Motors. Why? You know, I don't know. We got to see. I think somebody ought to look into this. Anyway, the point is, all these forces, I call this the business dark web, are on the wrong side of history. I have this seemingly coordinated business dark web, which is what it is. It's this behind the scene cabal of, hedge funds and so-called research firms and business press. And anyway, you got to understand the stock market's rigged. Okay. But real, in the end, it is my opinion, really good products make it through all of these hurdles to get to market. But anyway, uh, the seemingly coordinated, and I do believe it is coordinated, business dark web is stifling innovation and damaging the U.S. economy. Um, I think there should be a call to arms. I mean, the SEC uh, and the DOJ are investigating Lordstown Motors. All right, fair enough. They investigate a lot of people. They don't come up with anything. I I am of the opinion that they should look into this short and distort industry. I mean, I think a case could be made for, influencing stocks and, insider information and all these things. But anyway, that is for another video. That's just my opinion. The point is, once the potential is realized of the Lordstown Motors Foxconn Joint Venture, I think everyone is going to see how wrong these people were. And I really do, and this is my opinion, RIDE is a high risk investment. It is a pre-revenue, well, actually, they have revenue now, a SPAC, okay? Uh, do your own due diligence. Always seek professional advice. Investing in companies like RIDE can result in catastrophic losses. Having said that, I do believe that this effort they're doing with Foxconn is really going to explode massively very shortly. I think the potential here is mind-boggling. Uh, it's a complex story. It's hard to understand. You've had to kept up with the whole thing from the very beginning. I have. I have a personal interest in this stock and this company. I have favored it from the very beginning. I thought the technology they employed was just genius. But anyway, the point is, take a look at Ride stock. I do believe, and I have mentioned this in comments in other videos, I do believe Ride is a very, very strong hedge if you're holding Tesla stock. And again, this is just my opinion. I'm not an attorney, accountant, financial advisor, or engineer. However, Ride, let's say there's a coin, and on one side of the coin is Tesla and their approach to building BEVs. On the exact diametrically opposed, on exactly the other side of the firm of the coin is Ride is the stock if you want to buy a U.S. listed security that represents the hedge to Tesla. And let me explain my case on why I think that's true. Tesla's main manufacturing, they make 55% of their vehicles in China. Foxconn's moving everything out of China to the United States. Exactly the opposite. Okay. Tesla is going it alone, and they are by themselves, and they want to make everything, design everything. Foxconn and Lordstown, they are in the business of manufacturing battery electric vehicles. Okay. They don't care if it's their vehicles. They don't care if it's for another party. They don't care if it's for a major OEM. They don't care if it's for a tech firm, whoever the customer may be. So you've got that difference. Now, both of them are going to sell their own branded vehicles, but Tesla only makes Teslas. 55% of their production comes from China. Lordstown Motors, and we're going to just call it Lordstown Motors. Let's call it Foxtown Motors, is going to make a lot of their vehicles in the United States. Now they are a global firm, and they're looking at facilities in India, also facilities in Indonesia, I believe, and some other places. But they are going to have a giant presence in North America, the hub of which is Lordstown, Ohio, the major partner of which is Lordstown Motors, and they're agnostic. They, unlike Tesla, who is going to do their own thing, uh, Foxtown is agnostic. They'll build battery electric vehicles forever and any type. A tractor, the coolest tractor ever made that's going to revolutionize agriculture, they'll build it. The PEAR, which is going to be the lowest, the highest quality, lowest cost personal electric vehicle, they're going to build it, right? The Endurance, they're going to build that. The Endurance van, they're going to build that. At some point, the Endurance SUV, three-row SUV, they're going to build that. The Foxtron private branded Model C and Model E, they're going to build those. So you can see what I'm getting at here. Again, a totally diametrically opposed approach to the battery electric vehicle from Foxtown or Lordstown Motors and Foxconn Joint Venture, as opposed to Tesla's strategy. And again, who said it? Ding Xiaoping. I don't care if a cat is white or black as long as it catches mice. Both of these strategies can work. And the neat thing is, you can hedge one against the other. So, anyway, that's just my opinion. Do your own DD, okay? Think about it. I don't know. I am personally very bullish on Ride at the moment, have been since before the joint venture. Now, somebody else is bullish on Ride. I'm going to close with this. Investor Observer. And this is Investor Observer, one word.com/news. Okay, you can go there on the web. Ride, which is the stock symbol for Lordstown Motors, RIDE, listed on the NASDAQ, receives a bullish rating from Investor Observer Stock Sentiment Indicator. Okay, so this is the first I've seen, for I have down here Lordstown Motors.2. It really is the second version of this. There's like pre-Angie Strand and post-Angie Strand, Lordstown Motors. Yeah, they got a bullish sentiment score. This just came out September 15th. So I think these guys are ahead of the curve. You can read this article yourself. But we've got a bullish indicator there from a fringe investment website, which is, these guys cover a lot of higher risk things. You can check it out yourself. I think that's cool. Just moving back up here. We got FISKER's going to expects to produce 250,000 PEAR BEVs in Lordstown. And they're looking for a battery partner, possibly to build a plant in Lordstown. This is coming in 2024 for Lordstown. Okay? There's already MIH platform programs underway at the Lordstown facility under the joint agreement. Again, FISKER is considering moving the Ocean from Austria. Of course, they're going to move the production of the Ocean from Austria. They're going to move it to North America. Now, they can move it to Canada. Magna has facilities in Canada. They can move it to Lordstown or anywhere else in America or Mexico. They're already building the PEAR at Lordstown. I think it makes for their supply lines and every other purpose. I don't see why they would do it anywhere else but Lordstown. Do your own DD on that. And then finally, our big news, Endurance, North American Truck of the Year. This is a very, very prestigious title to hold. So, a lot of good news for Lordstown. I think I am going to say, in my prediction motif here, I give the Endurance a 51% chance of winning this award. The driving experience, which is what's going to come next, I believe this first one involved design and specs and so forth. The driving experience of the Endurance is a sports car driving experience. There is no way the ZR2 or the Ford F-150 Lightning can compete with the handling of the Endurance. So, this is mxux. I hope you guys liked the video. Again, this is going to be available as a podcast on Spotify and other. Check your podcast supplier. All you got to do is search for mxux. All right, thanks a lot, guys. I hope you liked the video.